Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, 2 years ago, or just over, I did a tool review on the Gedore Red 172-piece socket set. And in some ways it raised more questions than answers because many of you said, what on earth is Gedore Red? Never heard of it. Many of you had a view, they're kind of made in the Far East, they're not real Gedore. Well, here we are 2 years on and I've acquired for myself some Gedore Blue. So Gedore Blue or Gedore Red, what actually is the difference? Let's have a look. Okay, first of all, to clear up, there's no actual brand name of Gedore Blue. You'll see it referred to in marketing and whatnot, but basically Gedore is the brand name. And their colours since 1919, 101 years of family-owned business in Germany, has always just been Gedore. And their brand colour is blue. Now, only when they made the Gedore Red range, they did it specifically to differentiate between the two product lines. Their normal regular product line, made in Germany to German standards by Germans, is Gedore. That's it. Gedore Red, on the other hand, is made in Taiwan, but it's made to German patents and German standards of quality. So they aren't just cheap Far Eastern tools. They're everything that Gedore is, but just the manufacturing costs to them are so much cheaper. They're outsourcing it to cheaper labour. So therefore, are they actually a cheaper tool? Well, we'll come to that in a minute. I mean cheaper in quality. But they made them to be accessible to everyone. Affordable, should we say. So how much more affordable? What actually is the difference in price, pound for pound, tool for tool, between Gedore Blue and Gedore Red? Let's have a look. Right, before I get into the individual boxes and individual tools, I just want to say you might recognize this appearance more for Gedore tools, this blue painted steel box. This is how they used to come. And in still many cases they do. I've got a blue cantilever box from many years ago that's all battered and beaten now, and that was my mobile box I used to take to outside jobs. The steel boxes have been their trademark for years, but in the last few years they've been getting into the molded boxes, and there's a great reason for that, and I'll come to that in a minute. This is a far superior way to deliver and store tools than the old steel boxes, but they haven't abandoned the tradition of this. They're still available for the smaller sets and indeed some of the bigger sets too. But let's get into the actual tools and look at them, like I said, pound for pound. Why is there a price and how much of a price difference actually is it? Okay, so looking at them in their entirety, we've got a 172-piece kit for £99. On this side, a 69-piece kit for £155. That's £56 more for 100 tools less. So you might think the difference between these two reasonably similar looking socket sets is only £56. Why wouldn't you spend an extra £56 and get the best? Because that's got 100 tools more. It's a lot more comprehensive. But let's look at an individual tool, the actual price comparison like for like. All right, the best way I can think to make an immediate comparison on just price level is sockets. Now these are two identical sockets, 32mm short reach sockets, the red range and the blue range. The red one to buy individually on its own, £8.40 on the internet. Loads of different sources, but about £8.40. The blue one though, £15 is around an average price. You've got about 12 or 13 at the cheapest, and I've seen them as much as 20. That tool, pound for pound, is roughly twice the price as that one. That's quite a lot of difference. Now that's comparing prices. Something that's also going to change is the quality of the tool, possibly. They're twice the price. They should be better in quality. Now, you can't really compare the quality of a socket without trying to break it, and I'm not doing that today because I don't think it's relevant. They're both flank drive. They both look identical. That's got a shiny finish, that's got a matte finish. I like matte finish tools because they grip better when you've got greasy hands. Shiny finish tools look very posh, but they tend to be quite slippery. So other than that, they're pretty much the same. So there isn't really a comparison. Where the comparison I think would look really good is in the ratchet, because in the ratchet that drives all the sockets, they're a mechanism. They have a little machine in the top. Now, let's look at these side by side and see the difference in quality, not the price this time. We know they're roughly twice the price of these. Let's see what the quality difference is between the ratchets, because I think that's very telling about any tool comparison. All right, the first thing you notice is the 3/8 drive ratchet is missing from this kit. In fact, there's no 3/8 drive in it. It is 1/4 drive and 1/2 inch, but it all makes up. It's 4mm out to 32 with all of the pertinent sizes. On this, you get the same 4 to 32, but in the middle, they've given you from 10mm to 19mm on 3/8 drive, and that overlaps in both sizes a little bit. So it's super comprehensive, and if you do motorcycles, you'll know that the 3/8 drive is your go-to size. You can buy the blue in 3/8 drive, no problem. It's just this kit doesn't have it because this is more focused maybe for cars, I don't know, but this is your motorcycle size. I'm quite sure you agree. All my impact tools are 3/8 drive, my torque wrenches, they're all 3/8 drive, and that's my go-to size. I like the size of the ratchets. They're easier to handle. They're not so likely to lean on because they're small. A big fat ratchet like that is very easy to put a lot of torque into that. And then when you're chewing up fasteners that go into aluminium, because that's the thing with motorcycles, many of the fasteners in motorcycles are into aluminium and you need to be gentle. So 3/8 drive is a great way to not overdo it. Anyway, that's a super comprehensive kit and it would have stuff you don't really need. It would be a third cheaper if it had a third less tools by taking out the 3/8 drive. But its comprehensiveness is what it's about. So let's not worry about that. They have 3/8 drive, that's an extra, that's to their credit. Let's take these out and look closely instead at the more important point of the quality of the ratchet mechanism in the heads. Come on in close. Okay, red ratchet, 72 teeth. Blue ratchet, 60 teeth. $72. 60. All right, 72 teeth in the red, 60 teeth in the blue. A minor difference, but what's the relevance of a fine tooth ratchet? Is it even relevant? What does it even mean? Right, to show you very quickly if I can, these are lock-on ratchets. You need a button to lock the sockets in place. I'll put one on each. And for comparison, because the comparison between 72 and 60, well, it's not something you can really see, but it is more of something about durability. But I'll come to that in a minute. For comparison that's visual, I'll bring this into play. This is the ratchet, my old 1985 snap-on ratchet, and it's 32 teeth. This thing is a tractor. Clunk, clunk. I'll show you the difference between this and how these operate, and you'll see the benefit of it. Coming close. Okay, now this is the old clunker, and what it's about is the recovery rate. That's the distance between one tooth and the next so that the ratchet can recover and then bring it back to the next turn of the bolt head. So we've got the bolt head nice and solid, and we have to go from there where it's locked all the way out, click there. So that distance to there is the recovery rate of this ratchet, and that's about 12 degrees before it clicks. Now imagine if you've got a starter motor there and a bulkhead there and another component there and not much room to move. You get the scenario where actually your ratchet won't recover and you can't do the bolt up with the ratchet, and it gets even harder then because you've got to find another way to do it, possibly taking off components to give yourself space, which costs you time and effort. So the recovery rate of a ratchet is relevant, and this whole thing, that's huge. However, something like this, that's got 72 teeth. The teeth inside here are tiny, which means they recover instantly. So we start there, come back, where's the recovery point where it clicks? There, barely anything. It's recovering almost instantly. And the blue one, it's the same thing. Say that's the space you've got. It's recovering straight away. Not as this one does, all the way around there. So I hope you can see that it is relevant because it means that the ratchet will operate in a smaller and more confined space. So what that brings you to is then the comparison, not between old 1980s stuff, but between today's 60 and 72. Now, what I can see going on here, what I'm surmising in my experience is that 72 teeth, it's the modern new number. I think in some ways, marketing companies offer bigger numbers because bigger numbers are always more impressive, aren't they? 72 teeth isn't necessarily a good thing. The teeth inside there are so fine that are they durable enough? Question, don't know. In this though, 60 tooth, the action of that ratchet just feels lovely. And the difference in the recovery rate between 60 And 72, well, it's minor, it's almost none, and there's another difference involved here. The actual mechanism in the red one is nowhere near as nice as the mechanism in the blue. Now, I can't really impart this in a video, but the best way I can explain it is if you grab hold of the socket in the head of the ratchet and just turn it, just feel that mechanism. First thing I notice is I can feel a vibration in the handle down here. This is hollow, and I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it makes it lighter, I'm not sure, but I can feel that mechanism clicking all the way down the end of the ratchet, and it's got a bit of an echo to it. It sounds like it's empty in there. Very nice, it's okay. There's no slop in it because it's brand new, but I wonder if that's actually a very good mechanism in there. However, in the blue, well, that's a whole different matter. When you click that, oh my goodness, that's lovely. That is so smooth, it's dead, it's solid, you can't feel a thing in the handle. This is obviously solid, you couldn't possibly make that hollow, and that's just lovely. That really is a beautiful mechanism, and if that makes a thing, the point is the best way comparison, but see, that's like a Timex, and that clicks like a Rolex. That is so smooth. And I think there is a monumental difference between the mechanism in the blue and the mechanism put in the red. And the other side of it is 72 teeth, they're tiny. 60 teeth, they're going to be bigger. Bigger means they'll be more durable. So that is a happy halfway. It's more durable than the 72, but at the same time, it gives you that lovely shallow 5-degree recovery rate for operating in tight spaces. And that's useful when it's a big ratchet like that. So I think by far and away, the telltale sign of a good quality ratchet socket set is the mechanism in there itself. Now, I can't compare these with any other brand. I was only using this old Snap-on thing because it's a really clunky old design. These are up to 80 teeth now, so I don't want any flamers from Snap-on fans. The point is, this ratchet is the telltale. Over and above this one, it is leagues ahead, it truly is. And it's definitely worth the extra money. I didn't individually price these, but I know I'd be more than happy to pay twice the price for that than I would for that one, because purely the mechanism alone, that feels tinny and hollow. You can even hear it kind of echoing. This one, it's lovely. It's solid, it's thick, it just feels quality. And I think the feel of something when it comes to hand tools, that's always a mark of quality. So that, at least, the ratchets tells me that that is far and away better quality than that, and definitely worth twice the price. All right, spark plug sockets, first of all. You get 3 of them in the red kit, 16, 18 and 21, and they're dedicated spark plug sockets, not just long sockets. You've got loads of long sockets there, but these, as you can see, are dedicated spark plug sockets. They have the hex on the head of them and the rubber inside. You know what they're all about? Basically, that rubber inside there grabs the ceramic on top of the spark plug, and if it lives down a recess, it helps to pull it out without having to get pliers down in there and do so. These, on the other hand, in the blue kit, they're just long sockets. You get the basic sizes, 10, 13, 17 and 19, but they're not spark plug sockets. These actually are. And there's a little trick for you as well. If you're ever using a spark plug socket, brake cleaner, squirt them inside and keep that rubber grease free, and then it will grip the spark plug nicely and pull the plug out. And if you've ever fought trying to get the plug out from the hole in a GSX-R engine, you'll know that makes sense. Right, the next thing is this reasonably clever combination T-bar and extension. I've seen these before, they're pretty common. They take a little knuckle with your long extension, which is in the kit, and you slide that over the end, and it doubles as your T-bar for that time when you need to get hold of a bolt that's really tight, and it's too tight for the ratchet. You don't want to stress the ratchet, so you reach for that instead. And that's great, there it is, job done. And I like to see that. The combination nature of that simply means you're saving space in the box, which is hugely packed. That's great, but I can see a flaw there because, and it might be a rare one, but you've got your T-bar here in your blue kit and you've got your long extension, and if you ever needed that in a scenario, you've got it. There it is. But with this, you've got your T-bar or your extension, not and. You can't use them together because that is the T-bar. If you need a long extension, it's in use. You've got a short one and you can use long sockets, so you'll probably get around it, but the fact is it's compromise, and I just wanted to point that out. It's a compromised version, and I've seen that a few times in big combination kits, and it proves again with the blue brand range that it is definitely not a compromised kit. It's not a compendium of different tools, it's the basics. This is very much the absolute basics of a socket set for basic mechanical work, and at £155, that's not bad value to kick you off. So what does all that really mean? Why would you buy that? And why would you buy that? It depends who you are. Whether you're a working professional technician in a main dealership, your boss is not going to accept the excuse, well, I couldn't finish that job because I haven't got the tool. He expects it to be there on hand and you to do the job and finish it accurately first time. You're not only earning your living, you're earning his and everybody else in the dealership. You're part of a team and you need to pick up the ball and keep it running. So that's why professional technicians probably invest tens of thousands in their kits. But does that automatically mean that the red kit is for the amateur? Well, no, I don't think so. Because I spoke to the rep for these and I said, who are they aimed at? When Gedore were making this red line and going to Taiwan and the Far East to have it made, what were they thinking? Who were they aiming these tools at to make them more affordable? And he said, well, they're aimed at the price-conscious professional, quote unquote. The price-conscious professional. I get that, it makes sense. Also though, I think they work quite well for the brand-conscious or quality-conscious amateur. Those of us who want cheaper tools we can afford, these are an awful lot of money. That lot, £600 in that colour, so that's a lot of money, but we still want a good brand. We don't want Mickey Mouse tools, we want proper stuff. And with a Gedore Red stamped on it, it just makes you feel confident in your work. And of course, good tools that are in good order, they will save you messing up a job. You can cost yourself a fortune just by using a bad tool. A worn out tool can actually also cause you injury, slipping off of a fastener. So there's many reasons to buy something that's good quality. And now you've got tools you can afford in that quality, I think that fits not just us amateurs, but also the professionals who maybe haven't got so much money to spend or maybe starting out on their career. That's the way to go. Anyway, they're both available. I'm going to leave a link in the description under the video. You can choose either one, treat yourself. And thank you very much for watching. Another little tool review for you next time on something completely different to this, and then we'll be back on the project. So thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safe, and I will see you next time.